I gotta love it when people start their videos like that. They have like, where does all of that energy come from? Like, I do not have that kind of energy. What do you do if you want to? What is it like to start a company, start a startup in China? So right now, I am one of the co-founders of an education services company in China, and the reason why I got into this is because one, I've always known that I wanted to start my own company, and this is what cut before the Silicon Valley, like the second startup boom with like internet with like social media, internet companies became popular. I knew way before, when I was like a little kid, that I wanted to start my own company. And secondly, I chose China specifically because I thought, where do my strengths and where are my competitive advantages? There's certainly, I don't think they're really not in New York City. Would it also make sense for me to move to Silicon Valley and start a company there? Again, tech is not like really my forte. I would say that I thought about my competitive advantages, which are, one, I thought about, in what area do people come in to consult me about often enough that I should be charging money. And secondly, where are more of these people located? And so when I was working at BlackRock, in my little analyst cubicle, I noticed that there were a lot of friends and family friends of their kids in China, and they would ask me to look over their essays or to give them advice about colleges, especially since I went to a really highly ranked elite institution. No, but seriously, Duke is the shit. And so I would spend a lot of time and give advice to these kids, and then I realized that they would actually like give me like a couple $1,000s for it, and it was a good way to get side income. But I feel like these types of requests were coming in and again and then. I thought there's definitely a business around it, and I researched a bit more, and I realized that education admissions and consulting and educational services is actually massive in China. Because one, there's a lot of people, and two, there's a lot of people in China who care about that field because they just care so much about education. Education is one of the Confucian pillars of society, which is get an education and, become knowledgeable, blah, 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 like filial piety, like along one of those pillars. And so that's how I decided to get into education. And it's certainly not easy. I live in New York City. I have a business partner who is on site, on the grounds over in Shanghai. He just moved over there. And I have to say this. If you want to start a company in China, you should definitely have a partner who's on site in China. And that partner shouldn't really be an expat. Like, that partner should be like as local Chinese as you should really try and get as local as possible. If you want to start a company in China, you will have to get someone local inside of your company. You cannot be two expat people or one expat person doing things remotely, or even a white dude, two white dudes in Shanghai. It's not going to work like that. Yes, you're white, and Chinese people love that shit, and it's gonna get their attention. But when it really comes to like closing deals and like all that stuff behind the scenes, you're really at a disadvantage. So that's one of the biggest myths I would say, is that, oh, if I'm a white person, I'll just move to China and like they'll love me and like my startup will explode. No. Yes, you'll be a lot of marketing value, but when it comes to actually operations and behind the scenes, like marketing and sales stuff and BD stuff, you're like, it's just not going to cut it. So find a business partner, integrate someone who's more local, and get started that way. So that's one of my pieces of advice, and I'll give you another piece of advice after I take a bathroom break in another video.